right. Now, you were talking about the Universal Monsters releases on Blu-ray.
So that's supposedly the big rumor. Nothing.
Well, kind of elaborate on what it's going to be.
Supposedly October, Universal's finally going to yield to the masses and go on Blu-ray. They said that they cleaned up and put it in high definition. Todd Browning's 1931 Dracula in the Spanish version that was shot on the set at the same time in the evening, and supposedly James Whale's Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein together. So that's the big rumor for October. That's the big one. Confirmed for later on, in the past month or two from now, Hammer Horror's The Twins of Evil will be released on Blu-ray.
I actually found that on YouTube recently.
Did you? And Colossus of New York.
Okay.
That's a good science fiction movie. The Space Children is also going to be released, I guess, within the next month or so. July, I believe, June or July is going to be Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
77 or
the original?
Was it 56?
Not too sure on that.
I know I've got it on DVD. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, but the original McCarthy version is coming out, and they said at High Noon, 60th anniversary is coming out on Blu-ray.
First appearance, Lee Van Cleef.
Yep, Lee Van Cleef. It's got a lot of big names in that movie. A lot of big names. And that one's coming out, and there is a whole bunch of stuff. It's just sporadically coming out. There's some B Western pictures that are slowly going to come out. I think there's a James Cagney film. What's interesting about James Cagney is previously to this movie we're going to discuss here in a moment, he had done a Western in 1939 and took a 16-year hiatus about doing Westerns. He went and did musicals and dramas and so forth.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 1955 that he basically got back in the saddle again and did a movie called Run for Cover. And that's coming out on Blu-ray here pretty soon.
What's the gist of that one?
Just your basic, it's just a B-Western, you know. There's nothing. I mean, only the fact that he's doing westerns again. It's a decent film. It's not like a John Wayne or a, it's nothing like that. Big picture, and that's just basically your B picture. I'm hoping, I tend toward I go toward more horror and sci-fi. Also, I noticed that I wish A&E Video would, I guess, basically get off their laurels and release Space 1999 Season 2. Season 1 came out quite some time ago on Blu-ray. And, it was awesome. They cleaned it up. They did a beautiful job. Beautiful job on it. But for some strange reason, they're dragging their feet and they're not coming out with Season 2. Now, granted, Season 2 is nowhere near as good as Season 1. But I still like to have the stories in that, so.
Well, that's when they introduced that shapeshifter, right?
Yeah, Maya.
Yeah, she wasn't in the first season, right?
No.
That's what I thought.
Tony Badecchi, and they introduced new characters and took out characters in that, and I guess they said it was too dark and gothic, and so they brightened up the sets and they changed the appearance and made it more up tempo and more action and that for the episodes, which. It's okay, but I still prefer the darker episodes of first season and that. I mean, granted, somebody always died in every episode. I don't know how the Moon-based Alpha's population stayed so much stable.
True.
Everybody dying off so much, but...
Yeah, I remember watching that quite a bit with my father when I was young, too. We'd spend that time, I believe it was on Sunday when it was on, correct?
Yes. Well, Saturday. Saturday's on Channel 43. That's when I saw it.
Okay.
Well, depending where you're at, the syndication in that, of course. Because it used to be, they showed Gunsmoke, and then classic Star Trek, and then Space 1999 on Saturday evenings. And that was a big thing. And my dad always liked Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
He loved James Arness. And I was going, I like James Arness too, but I liked him in Them and the Thing.
Yeah.
Dad wasn't too keen on those pictures. He liked the westerns a little bit more.
Them, he was just a flunky, wasn't he?
No, he'd been in some, he's a B-list guy. John Wayne, they were really good friends from what I understand, and they wanted John Wayne to do Gunsmoke in the beginning, but he turned it down because John Wayne said the money was to be made in movies, not television, from what I understand. But
ironically so, because nowadays they want television programs as opposed to movies.
Yeah.
Because it's a weekly paycheck.
Yeah, and the paychecks are almost as good, if not better, than doing movies.
But
back then, the small screen was considered a lesser form. It was, the movie. You had your movie stars, you had your television stars. It wasn't until probably in the '60s when you had some big name actors like Ernest Borgnine. He won the Academy Award for Marty, and then he went to do McHale's Navy. He transitioned quite nicely from the big screen to the small screen.
Yeah.
He's one of the few guys that did that didn't mind doing it. From what I understand, work wasn't very consistent. It's not like today. When you win the Academy Award, you got dozens of scripts waiting at your doorstep. Well, that wasn't the fact back in the 1950s and that when he won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
So, he had to make a living somehow doing bit parts.
Okay. We'll just kind of wrap it up now for this one, because then I've got to